Hey guys, Hollywood here, and I'm about to do the pad see ew. Now this one's going to be a little bit more high energy because I'm cooking it the conventional way. I've got the induction cooker set up, hex-clad wok. I'm not using high temp oil, I'm just going to use some olive oil, but it's okay, it'll work just the same. I need a couple of tablespoons of that to brown off some chicken. I've cubed up the chicken small, it makes it easy to cook, and I've just seasoned it. How's that sizzle? More sizzle than me. Now while I don't talk over this, all I want to do is brown it up, get a good colour and coat. To be fair, I'd be tossing this like crazy, but if I do, it makes this weird beeping sound. Or not. Okay, so that's just a couple of minutes to let that heat get on there. So a high heat for the chicken to start with, brown it off, a few minutes, we'll set that aside, and then we'll set up the base ingredients. Pad see ew, although the name sounds quite complex, is a very easy to make dish. Basically chicken, bok choy, or pok choy, depending on what you can get. So just some greens and a little bit of onion and garlic. I've minced it up just here, and also some egg. And the most important bit, these nice flat noodles. Consider it to be like your Char Kway Teow noodle. A little bit more color on that chicken. All right, so that's my chicken. It's mainly it's cooked off very, very quickly because of its small cubes. We are going to put it back in to finish cooking at a higher heat, but you do want to make sure it's cooked through. If you have a temp probe, you can probe that, and you want to just make sure it's at about 160 to 165 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 74 degrees Celsius. Okay, let me put that aside with its juice. Back on that, I want to touch more oil in this. I'm going to lower that heat down slightly to a medium heat. The reason I'm going to do that is because I don't want to burn this garlic and onion. A lot less noise now, as we just want to saute them until that onion is nice and translucent, and just making sure we don't get that garlic burnt. Burnt garlic flavour is not that great. The recipe's got it running about a couple of minutes, but you'll be able to tell from your eyes when it starts to go nice and clear. Once that's ready to go, I'm going to throw in some greens. In this case, it's the pok choy. You can cut it up into sizes that you like. I like to make them sort of bite-sized pieces, and I like to use all of the leaf. It smells so good, just the onion and garlic alone, let alone this amazing sauce we're about to use. And that's really what makes the pad see ew, is this sauce. All right, so in with our greens. They're going to release a little bit of water. So those greens will start to wilt down. They look fabulous. I'll give that a couple of minutes with some heat. You can increase that cooking time if you want to by putting a cover on it. That kind of steams it a little. But I like these vegetables to stay quite bright, quite green. I'm going to push it off to one side. The reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to take some eggs. You want to beat up a couple of eggs. You can just give them a whisk and increase that heat just a little bit. Fry that egg up in there. That's going to cook just off to one side. Once I can see that egg starting to cook almost like omelette style, then I'm going to start to break it up with the spatula. Just letting that heat get in there first. And then once it's cooked through, breaks up nicely, and it'll start to coat the rest of those vegetables that are in there. Love it. If I didn't let it set up and just poured it over it, it'd make one of those sort of prawn omelette looking dishes. First of all, we just get that heat in there. It's starting to look really good. The great thing about cooking with a wok is you always got something to do. The bad thing about cooking with a wok is you always got something to do. So my eggs started to cook through there, just breaking it up, and now basically going to mix through the bok choy, grate that egg up so it's not sticking to that pan. The perfect non-stick pan, thank you. That is looking fantastic already. You want to do a nice healthy version of this? Just eat that. We're going to take these large flat noodles. You can either get them and cook them as per the packet dry. I like to get them from the Asian markets just like this. They're a wet noodle. A trick to these things is when you get them out of the pack, strip them off individually. Often in the packet instructions, it says to boil them in water and so forth, but they tend to go a bit mushy. So I tend to take them out, strip them off, and then I'll throw them into this heat. So I've got a very generous serving of these bad boys right now because it is really a noodle dish. So I've got my noodles sitting in there. I'm not going to do too much work to them because I don't want them to break up too much. I'm going to pour back in that chicken with all that juice. There's my protein in there, and I didn't waste anything. I like to get those noodles to char a little bit, and the way we do that is by adding this delicious sauce. It's got plenty of different ingredients that are going to make this the flavor that's traditional, but it's all accessible stuff that you would typically have in your pantries. All right, that's in there. So now I want to bang that heat up get this thing really cooking away. Cook off any of that excess moisture. And again, gently rolling the noodles through this means that they're not going to break up and you don't end up with a big mess. So now you can start to see that color starting to set up on these. It's a beautiful, delicate color. It's going to darken, obviously, as we cook off more of the sugars. We are going to let that thing bubble away for a few minutes. And that is pad see ew, the conventional method.